Good morning, everyone. Welcome to CAI Design's Trends Report. We started this, I want to say, about 2 years ago. Really started to document for all of our sales team what we saw at the high point markets as the new and upcoming trends and what we were focusing on to be able to purchase. And then last year we expanded this to be able to include all of our clients and designers to be able to witness this as well. If those of you have never been to High Point Market, it is extremely large. It takes up an entire town. Hundreds of thousands of people come in. It's an international show. And the entire town basically focuses on furniture for an entire week. We visit over 60 vendors during this time. Our schedule is basically from 8 in the morning till 7 o'clock at night, and we hit as many people as we can and tour all of the new products. So it's always exciting to see what's new and fresh for each market, and we're just going to give you a little bit of an overview. We're going to break this up between the three of us. Sorry, I didn't introduce myself. I'm Roberta Honquest. I'm the National Sales Manager for CAI Designs, and I am part of the buying team, which is made up of myself, Joe Chiminetti, our owner, as well as Kevin Branum and Steven Siedlecki, who do upholstery and case buying with us as well. So with that, we'll get started. First thing that we want to talk about is colors for 2024, fall market going into spring. This October market presented colors that are firmly rooted in warm and earthy hues that evoke the richness of nature. Grays are gradually being replaced with browns enriched with bold shades of hunter green, olive green, burnt orange, copper, plums, and mustard yellow. Very much going back to some of the, for those of you that were around or are historians, sort of the 70 color palette. All of the showrooms were showcasing these tones, not only on the walls and fabrics, but on painted and stained furniture as well. While white walls are a classic and always will be on trend, I feel like we're all craving a little bit warmer, cozy environments. So to first start off, chocolate and mocha walls. Pantone's color of the year was Mocha Mousse, which we were showing down here in this lovely graphic, which was a deeply saturated tone, but has a lot of blush and pink tones to it. Milk chocolate, latte, those sort of terms is what we kind of bantered around between the group as we were walking through many of the showrooms. Vanguard is the center image here, which really embrace this color in many of their rooms. Included with that are Wesley Hall, Precedent, and others. So this just kind of gives you that warmer, deeper tone, and you can see the infusion of some grays, but also green tones in these pictures as well. Plums. First image up here on the left is from Varellin. This was one of our favorite fabrics that many of the vendors embrace. It has a lot of texture to it, and Stephen will be talking about these a little bit later. The next picture of this beautiful gown is from the Kravitz showroom, which they featured a couture fashion designer, Joseph Altuzera. The room below is the inspiration off of many of his clothes. They wrapped the entire room with wall covering and fabric drapery with a beautiful plum sofa in front of it. Some other images that Renee Caceres striped velvet in here. We've got hickory white, hickory chair. Really love this tone as well. Vanguard, Varellin, and Cisco little ottomans up in front here. The last picture is from Thayer Coggin, beautiful cozy little chair, and they tend to be rather neutral, but in this case they really jumped into this plum and kind of burgundy tone. Blush tones. Blush tones have really gained traction as a fresh, versatile neutral that brings warmth without overpowering the room. Whereas some people may not want to go into those deep tones of plum. This blush tone really is the perfect in between. They pair beautifully alongside the earthy palette and vibrant hues that we saw. They added delicate softness, more of a feminine touch to the overall design. Pink was everywhere on walls and on printed fabrics. It's taking away from those really deep saturated colors. Susan Kessler in this beautiful little shot here really did a beautiful job of doing really the soft blushy pink wall with all white fabric surrounding it. Our Italian leather sofa or sectional, excuse me, from Bracci here, which again, they tend to be more in the blues, grays, and neutrals. They embrace this sort of more warmer, pinker tone as well. Vanguard and Tebow jumped into these tones. Hickory chair as the front of this sideboard was really a really soft, beautiful pink tone. Greens. Again, that 70 inspired olive green is back, whether you like it or not. First image here is from the Lee showroom with a beautiful soft pattern of green, olive green with this printed animal print in front of it in ottoman. Really very, very stunning. They also applied that to a bed. You'll see that later on in one of the photographs. Burton James is back, which is wonderful and strong. They have a brand new showroom. They're in the process of building out their own showroom, which we hope to be able to visit in April. They were in a temporary tent, but they did a really fantastic job of showcasing their product. And this gorgeous sectional was a beautiful green velvet. Alphonse Marina down here jumped into that mix as well. This is a beautiful armoire with stunning texture to the front of it, but that green just really popped against the black metallic. In the center here is a sectional from the Hickory White showroom. They embraced all of those colors, the burnt orange, the olive green, the plum tones, all into one really stunning room. In one of the next photographs, you're going to see the opposite side of this room with a bed. But they've got the just really gorgeous tones going on here. Even with leather, we've got a printed animal hide in that olive green tone. Burnt orange. Again, not what we're used to. First image of this chair here is from the Julian Chichester showroom. Oh, excuse me, I apologize. The bed is from the Julian Chichester showroom with these beautiful orange walls and just a white and kind of really graphic mod print to the bedding. Precedent, again, Cravat with Joseph Altuzera with the beautiful gowns. And the background of this that they did on the walls, they've also developed into wall covering and fabric, which is just really super stunning. Always love a heron hide. Again, just sort of jumping in with Hickory White and Precedent with this really mod kind of 70s pattern. And going back when I had spoke about previously with the Hickory White showroom, this is the opposite wall from that sectional where they took the striped fabric and applied it as paint graphically against the wall with that beautiful blue bed as a really pop, and then the graphic black and white chest here off in the corner with, again, sort of that burnt orange swivel chair in the corner. Last but not least is mustard. Mustard is a really saturated tone of yellow. Not many designers really embrace this, so it was rather interesting for us to see this. I think it's a little bit harder of a color for some people to use. But again, many of our vendors really embraced it, whether it was in leather, in Wesley Hall, these beautiful swivel chairs in suede, and then a quilting on the back. Cisco in terms of the bedding down here, and Varellin incorporating it with the orange and the plum tones in this gorgeous textural stripe. Top right here is the Lee bed with that beautiful print. And again, they've got a velvet ottoman in front of that as well. I'm going to pass this off to Steven now, and he's going to talk about the fabrics and the trends that we saw there.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for coming. My name is Steven. I work in our Chicago showroom, and I do our upholstery buying. And if anyone knows me at all, they know how obsessed I am with plaids and fuzzy fabrics. It was probably one of my very favorite markets with all of the things that were coming up. If we look at this first page with fuzzy fabrics, everyone did an amazing job applying all these fabrics to different things, and reinventing them. The first with the sofa was done just beautiful. And the second was a printed fabric with different colors and had a really beautiful feel to it. Um, and then in the next photo, you have a cravat sofa with these beautiful printed fuzzy butterfly pillows. The amount of texture at this market was just amazing. Every showroom we went into really embraced all the feeling and the textures and the color. The bottom left photo was a photo from Renee Cazares, and they just did a beautiful job mixing all of these pillows with a neutral background. And the next picture, which was a really fun surprise, was Thayer Coggin. I mean, Thayer Coggin has always done a beautiful job with color, and they knocked it out of the park. This is what you walked in the door with. Again, next photo with the beautiful throws and the colors that were just incredible. The next chair is with Varellin, who Varellin is really the king and queen of textured and fuzzy fabrics, and they embrace this fabric in almost every colorway. And last but not least on this slide are these gorgeous chairs from Wesley Hall that sit like a dream. And this is a synthetic fabric that absolutely sits like $1 million, and they feel amazing when you sit in them. So, and then we can do the next one with printed mohair velvets. Um, One of the exciting things about this market was all of the prints, all of the things that I grew up with that are just absolutely brand new. The beautiful chairs in that first photo with that tapestry, and what you can do with almost any fabric is just amazing. Second photo is Renee Cazares, who is not afraid of printing velvets, printing fabrics, and just beautiful. Roberta took this beautiful picture of this pillow with all of these beautiful colors and prints. Um, the final one on the top row was a really beautiful surprise when we went to Precedent, who's typically a little more neutral with solid colors, did an amazing job with these. Um, this bottom left photo, these chairs were hand printed velvet, which were beautiful. And I believe those were new chairs from Lee. And then the next photo with that green fabric is again a close up from Renee, in just these beautiful velvet mohairs. The next one is Vanguard, who was not afraid to put any sort of color or print, and that really just reimagined the chair. And that last photo again, that is Renee Cazares as well. They ran this fabric vertically on the chair, and it just completely changed the look of it. They did an amazing job. So let's do my next favorite slide in the entire world, is plaid. Everyone makes fun of me because I'm obsessed with plaid, and I was excited to see it in every single showroom that we went to this market.
I'm just going to
First,
interject. He's got a plaid scarf on today.
for years they said, Steven, stop it with the plaid. Years. So I was excited this market to every showroom was just flooded with plaid. First chair, which is from Cheryl, who does just the most beautiful upholstery. Um, Second chair is just again with that wool plaid. The third photo, which we were so excited about, was from Cisco, which, moved from California to North Carolina, and just doing a beautiful job rolling that fabric down that side of that sofa. Um, and it was exciting to see full sofas in plaid. No one was afraid of it. Everyone knew when we found plaid because I screamed when I turned the corner. Um, this beautiful new sofas from Wesley Hall. They've never ever been afraid of plaids and prints, and do a beautiful job mixing them. Um, Next sofa was from Cheryl, if I'm not mistaken. You guys can correct me. Again, not afraid. Beautiful wood trim along the bottom, perfectly matched and lined up. Next photo is Design Master, who has been we've worked with for a very long time, doing a beautiful job putting that plaid on the outside. And if I'm not mistaken, they did a beautiful job with 3 different fabrics and applications on that wonderful game chair. Um, and then the very last photo is with Lee doing that beautiful classic iron chair with those cushions. They weren't afraid to put plaid and prints on those, and those cushions come in and out of those chairs, so it's really easy to take care of them. And let's go to my next favorite topic, which is trim, and skirts. All right, skirts are back, everybody. They were around when I was young. I love them, and no one was afraid to give every skirt every detail I possibly could. There were kick pleat skirts, there were waterfall skirts, there were ruffle skirts, there were mini skirts. That first sofa shows you how beautifully everyone's bringing back that pleated skirt all the way around. Um, the second image is a beautiful new ottoman from Lee, who has always done a beautiful job with their skirts. Um, Loving the next chair with the mini ruffle skirt, which we saw in almost every single showroom. They did a beautiful job with the tape trim above it. And fringe and trim are everywhere. That beautiful chair from Lee, and they're now stocking some of these trims to make it easier for us. And not being afraid to lay that trim over a skirt or leaving it open. You can specify where you want them to lay that on the chair so you can see different things. Um, this next bottom left chair at Whittemore Sherrill reminds me of all the beautiful leather trims that we sold when I started working with Kyle 20 years ago at the Mart. They just do a spectacular job with that leather fringe around the arm. The next one is Cisco. Cisco has always been known for slip covers, pleated skirts, and they just did a beautiful job with this slipper chair. Next photo is one of their classic tight back chairs. They added that handmade leather fringe around those arms, which was just beautiful. The 2 little photos, again, showing you how wonderful a job everybody does with all these different trims and the bullion fringe and whether you can lay it on a skirt. I believe those were from Mr. and Mrs. Howard. And then again, that last photo, there were multiple fabric applications everywhere. It's so much fun to see everybody do leather and prints, and they took that leather fringe that they used from the chair and they put it about halfway down that arm. It was really, really beautiful. It just reminded me of so many things that were so popular. All right, and then my last page is going to be quilted backs. And again, not being afraid to put things together. Most of our vendors now for us will quilt leathers in different patterns, different directions. Some of them will quilt fabrics for us. That first photo, they did a beautiful job keeping the leather solid in the center and doing the quilted outside back. The next photo along the top is from Wesley Hall, who does a beautiful job with leather seating and did that channeling on the outside of the chair. The next 2 photos show all of the different patterns that everyone is embracing. And that way you can float these chairs in a room and really appreciate all those details. And in the bottom center photo, they are not afraid to quilt the inside arm and the inside of the chair. And it's a little detail, but it can add a lot of different warmth and character to a room. And the last photo is one of my favorite chairs from Wesley Hall. They reversed their typical application and went ahead and did that diamond tufting on the leather on the inside of the chair and on the top of the ottoman. Um, they've always done an outstanding job with leather, and they knocked it out of the park with this chair. So, like I said, thanks for listening to my rant on plaids and trim. They're like my favorite thing. So, I'm going to turn it over to Kevin next, guys. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Kevin Branum, and I'm here in the Arlington Heights showroom, as well as the case good buyer and visual merchandiser for CAI. Before kind of jumping into our slides, I just want to say from the slides you've seen prior, the thing I really loved about this market in particular, each of the vendors that we went to, you could really see that they fully embraced a lot of these trends. Their vignettes that they set in each one of the showrooms were to the nines with wall coverings, original art, drapery panels. Like people are really trying to set the moods and really make you feel like you're fully enveloped in all of their surroundings. So I'm going to talk about some of our furniture styles first. The first one that we're going to get to is Read It Case Goods. So over the past few markets, we tend to see trends kind of emerge and get tested, and then you see some kind of fade away and some get very strong. Reading is one of those that has gotten very strong over the past couple of years and was really embraced this market. It's kind of just adding a little bit of softness and a little bit of texture to case goods that are typically very square and very boxy. The first photo on your left is from Old Biscayne, and the front of those doors just has a very subtle reading and a slighter shade, and you can just see the shadows as you go across the front of it. The next one is Hickory Chair, and they've done this demi-lune with this reading across the front. Woodbridge in the next photo was a bar. They set up a speakeasy in the middle of their showroom and made it very dark and moody, and these were a great bar application. The top right and the bottom middle photo are both from Hickory Chair as well, part of their textures program. These both have very subtle reading on the front, and the thing I like about the bottom middle photo is they've taken that reading and we're used to it going vertically or horizontally, and they've almost kind of done it in like a fanning pattern. So they've kind of tweaked it just a little bit from what we normally see. And then the last two remaining photos are from Lexington. So they've kind of done like a different application as well. One kind of undulates in and out. The other one kind of curves up and down and has like a solid mixed in with the reading. And then we're going to move into woven chairs. Typically, when we think of woven, I kind of always kind of jump back to the old wicker days and it wasn't super refined. People have gotten better with their weaving applications and are definitely making these things much more refined, much smoother, much more elegant, and a little more uplifted. So in this first photo on the left, this is from Bernhardt, and they kind of did this oversized box weave, which I really like because it kind of shows off the different shading and the patterns and the variations of it. The next three photos in the bottom right are all from Palachek, which started weaving when they started this. They've always been known for these naturals and everything. The top middle photo is their Fritz chair, and at market they had 3 or 4 of their best chairs deconstructed, so you could really get up close and see the materials and how much really goes into weaving it and making it nice and tight and perfect. The bottom left is from Alfonso Marina, mixing in with this wood. I think this is a beautiful chair. It's incredibly comfortable. It's, from the wood that's curved to the reading in the back or the woven in the back, it's just in my opinion, like the best of these. And then you've got a chair from Artistica on the bottom right. So they've taken that and kind of made this rounded circular pattern in the back. And then from woven, we're going to move into stone and stone tops. So, yeah, here we go. So stone tops, we've slowly seen more and more people using stone tops on nightstands, dining tables. They're starting to move outdoor, and with the outdoor version, it's typically a porcelain version that they're making to make it more cost effective, more suited for those weathers and those temperaments. Before going through some of these, I just got back from Dallas Lighting Market, and there has been a big push in lighting as well for more of these natural elements. We saw a lot of alabaster, onyx, travertine, basalt, just all these different natural materials. So there's definitely this move toward case pieces and lighting to have something a little more natural that we see. The first photo on the top left is Old Biscayne. So we typically know them for their woods and metals and glass, they've started introducing these marbles, so we can start doing dining tables and such with them. The top little photo is from Interlude. They've always kind of been a little bit cooler tone. Now they're moving into these warmer travertine tones and everything, which is really nice. The small photo below that on the right and the console to the far right are from Terracea, and this is using a slate material. So a very beautiful, deep, dark gray, almost black, that's just a beautiful piece of stone, no matter how you see it. The top right photo is from Interlude. So they're warming up those palettes and adding, this is another travertine top with that beautiful wood beneath it. The bottom left photo and the bottom right photo, one's from Sunset West, the other's from Lane Venture. These are outdoor tables. So these are utilizing those porcelain pieces. So you still get the look of marble and quartz, but you've got the cost effectiveness of porcelain. The next photo that Roberta just hovered over is from Hickory Chair. So this has another one of those beautiful marble tops. More dining tables from Old Biscayne and Theodore Alexander. So everybody's really embracing the durability of stone and the natural beauty of it. And that's the thing to remember about natural stone. All these beautiful photos you see here, the next time you see these tables, it's going to be a completely different stone, a completely different cut, but equally as beautiful. And then on to the next topic, we're going to talk about curves in furniture. And we'll start with complex curves. So over the past couple of markets as well, we've noticed that vendors are trying to soften lines and make everything not be so harsh and so 90 degrees. So there was, kind of slowly barreling and rounding, but now they're getting much more complex and adding different angles with the curves and definitely mixing everything up more. The top photo is from Precedent. So they've got this beautiful curve arm on the edge. The next photo is from Bernhardt, just a very simple barrel, but you get that same curve. The next is Theodore Alexander. So again, taking that wood that we're used to being 90 degrees and giving it this graceful, elegant shapes all the way around. The next table or chair in the top right corner and the bottom left are both from Bernhardt as well. So you can see just a normal dining chair that we're used to, 90 degrees. They're curving it off and giving you a little more movement with those. The two chairs in the middle are from Burton James, and this is a big departure for them. The new owner is working with the creative director, and he took a trip to Paris over the summer and found some beautiful antiques while he was out shopping and wanted to recreate those with their furniture. So you can see one has this lovely acrylic base going around, the other has this great mix of the back mixing in with the front. It almost looks like it's floating. And then the bottom right is from Theodore Alexander, or I'm sorry, Thayer Coggin. And it's got this lovely bent wood going around the edge as well. The next, it's kind of an interesting topic, is rocking chairs. It's not something we always think of, but I think it's kind of taking us back to that. We want to be cozy again. We want to kind of be a little more intimate. The one on the left is from Vanguard, and the one on the right is from Varellin. The thing I like about the Varellin one, it looks surprisingly low and not like a traditional rocking chair that you're used to seeing. But when you sit in it, you kind of almost melt into it. And when I was sitting in it, I wanted to be like by the fireplace in my mountain house in Aspen, drinking my hot chocolate, hanging out. So it's definitely inviting you to get cozy and like stay a while. So moving from rocking chairs into beds, beds had a big movement this market and moving more into those curves. So, typically we think of softening a bed, like the top middle photo and the two below it, where you're kind of like just cutting off those edges and making them a little more rounded. They've definitely started doing more swooping curves to where the headboard and the footboard kind of envelop the mattress and kind of invite you into it. The top left is from Interlude, and this is a great bed, super low profile, low headboard, but it's got the curved footboard and curved headboard. The next is from Century, so it's kind of a take on a coastal look. They've got the wood around with the upholstered head, but the headboard still has that nice little swooping curve. The next is from Bernhardt, and that's definitely one of those where they're kind of taking it and just kind of doing the cut corner and everything. And the nice thing about this bed is the headboard is affixed to the frame behind it, so it almost looks like it's floating, which kind of is a cool detail that you don't normally see. The next is from Vanguard, so again, that same enveloping curved swooped head. The next is from Bernhardt. The two bottom corners are from American Leather, so definitely that same swooping effect. And then the middle is from Cisco, and there's Steven's beautiful box pleat skirt again. So you're getting curves and skirts. So next we're going to move on to rounded edges. So we're still trying to soften up these hard corners of everything. The first is a nightstand from Bernhardt. So you can see they've definitely taken the frame and rounded off the edges. So it's a nice swooping. It looks like the material just runs all the way around, and the shelf looks like it's floating inside it, which is a really cool feature. The next is from Wesley Hall. This is from the Peter Jacob collection. He just celebrated his 10th anniversary of designing for Wesley Hall. So a lot of his inspirations had curves and those, you know, fringe and the plaids, and he kind of took a good combination of everything. The next image is from Terracea. So even taking this metal and bending it around the front of the buffet, taking that rounded edge and just softening things up a little, is making things a little more inviting. The next is Sunset West, a nice little outdoor cocktail table. Then we've got Interlude, which, Interlude isn't always known for kind of softening up with those inset panels and everything. So that was a nice change for them to do something a little softer. The two bottom corners are from Bernhardt, so more of just those nice soft curves. The blue sofa is from Hickory White, and they just took that outside back and just made it nice, elegant, swooping curve. And then the bottom buffet is from Palachek, so they're kind of incorporating some of those wovens on the front door as well as the rounding of the buffet. And then we're off to final remarks.
Thank you, Kevin and Stephen. Those were great additions and commentary on what we saw. This final picture is just, we always love to take photographs of all the reps and the people involved, and obviously of the group as we travel through. So Kevin had mentioned the speakeasy at Woodbridge. This is a great little fun photo of them kind of slipping back out from that. And, animal prints were, again, really strong. We talked about that in the last trend report. I don't think animal prints will ever go away. I think they're just a wonderful, fantastic, high-end designer statement. So we always have fun at market, and we always enjoy our time. We're going to open this up now. Allison will open up anybody who has a question or comment. Feel free, anything goes. So
you should all be able to unmute yourself now if you wanted to ask something in the chat on the call. And we did have a chat earlier asking about the fuzzy fabrics and how to clean them for clients who may have pets and kids.
You want to hire a professional. Most of these fabrics are synthetic, and they are generally pretty easy to take care of. We always start with water to take care of easy things, so it doesn't leave anything behind. But when you're buying nice upholstery and chairs and sofas, let a professional take care of it for you so they can investigate the fabric, and they can take care of it for you. But again, most of the really fuzzy and fun fabrics are synthetic, so they're pretty easy to take care of.
I'll interject in that as well. And with all of the furniture manufacturers, they typically will put a cleaning code on the sampling, or if it's not on the actual sample, it'll be in our price list. So we can get that information to you, whether it's a water-based cleaner or a chemical-based cleaner that you need to do. But some of them were either fully synthetic, a few were a combination of wool and synthetic. So again, just testing something out on a small sample is always the best before you really deeply dive in. Any other questions?
Right.
If there's anybody that does have questions after the fact, feel free to email us or pick up a phone and call any of the showrooms. We're happy to help. If you saw a slide and you want more information as to who the vendor is or what's going on, again, we're more than happy to give you that information. We really appreciate your time this morning, and we hope to see you all soon. Thanks again.
Thanks,
Oh.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good New Year.